Welcome to Milo's Mods, ladies and gentlemen. So, maximum performance on the Nexus Pro X. I have achieved what I believe to be maximum performance. Okay, let us begin, shall we? This is exactly what I did to this blaster. This is a callot from Xbox Games, okay? So that way you can hot swap your barrels, which is really nice. This right here is a 40 centimeter sabre barrel. It's a performance enhancing barrel, okay? It's like a 12.9 inner diameter. Now, I'm going to show you guys something, and we'll get back to that in a minute, okay? This is a high-powered spring for this blaster. So we'll get back to this in a minute. I'll tell you what not to do, okay? So when I got my springs in, I tested this on a litany of darts. Like on the low powered springs, I was getting like HVZ speeds, which is really good. Just decent, so that way, because I realize that some people in the United States, they have very soft caps of like 150 FPS. Don't ask me why, but they do. It's probably so that way little kiddies can play. There are no little kiddies in my group, so we go as high as we can go. Okay. So when I got the springs in, for the Nexus Pro, I dropped the high-powered spring in on normal Generation 3 darts, okay? Worker Gen 3 high-end. I was getting speeds of about 250 to 260. I'll let that sink in. 1 gram darts on a $50 blaster with a little bit of modifications to it, I was getting 250 to 260 FPS. Okay, that's pretty good, especially for a $50 off-the-shelf blaster. You know what I mean? That's really nice, actually. And most clubs, they play at 200 to 250 FPS, so this blaster would be optimal for it. Now, when I started to do my testing, the first thing I tried was I tested the high-powered spring with no spacers. When I tested the high-powered spring with no spacers, I was getting speeds of about 236 or so, which still isn't bad, okay? And keep in mind, 230s is what I would get off of the stock spring with a 2-inch spacer. So when I dumped in the high-powered spring with 2 spacers, I was getting 250 to 260 on normal Generation 3 darts. When I changed out the ammo, and I started to use the new Bamboo 2.0, which are the green body with red heads, I was getting speeds of about 300 off of this blaster. You guys are going to say, that's awesome, that's fabulous. It gets better. When I jumped it to Dragon Darts, which are the lightest ammo that I have, I was getting speeds over 300. I was getting speeds of about 310. But you guys got to remember something. When you switch out the ammo and use a lighter ammo, because bamboo darts are lighter and so are dragon darts. Dragon darts are actually lighter than bamboos. But when you switch out the ammo and stuff like that, you'll get higher numbers because you're not using standard 1 gram darts. Standard 1 gram darts would give me 250 to 260 all day long. It's really awesome, actually. I was pleasantly surprised with that. But when you switch it up, you get much higher numbers. Bamboo 2.0s, I was getting like 300 FPS off of this blaster, which is nothing to sneeze at all, This would basically compete now. If I was using lighter darts, it would hit as hard as my Harrier. Just really nice, Now, when I tried certain darts, I was getting a little bit better numbers. Like if I tried the X-Shot darts, I was getting 260s. When I tried Worker Gen 3, I was getting about 250, okay? When I tried the Adventure Force darts, for some reason, I was getting a little less. I was getting about 240s, okay? Which still isn't bad. I mean, are these springs worth it? Maybe, it just depends. Especially if you want to shoot at a lower speed, I can definitely see picking them up. Now, on to this guy. Yes, this is a high-powered spring. It looks like it has erectile dysfunction issues now. What I did to that, to get it to do this, was that I used the 2 included spacers that comes with the high powered and low powered spring. I put both those on. Plus, I threw in my 2-inch brass spacer that I have for this blaster that I made in the very beginning for the stock spring. That's what happens to the spring under a 2-inch spacer plus the spacers it comes with. Don't do this. I will repeat that again. Do not do this. Okay? So if you're running this blaster on a high-powered spring, I suggest safely, so you don't have this issue, you just run it with the spacers that come in the pack. Because if you put a bigger spacer on it, you're going to get this. To give you an idea, I had to disassemble the whole blaster to get it out. As obviously you can tell, it's curlicued, which is kind of cool, but that tells me not to do this. And I'm warning you guys not to do this either. It's very bad to do this. Now, a bunch of you were going to ask, well, how's the prime weight under the max spring load? It's definitely a manly prime. It's a stiff prime. It's about as stiff as the stock spring with a 2-inch spacer on it. Which is not bad at all. But, with this blaster shooting this hot right now, which is really nice, I wonder how long it's going to take before parts start to wear out, like the catch. Maybe the plunger rod. I wonder when they start to wear out. I'm actually pleasantly surprised, with $10 worth of spring and, a different barrel. And again, you don't have to use a saber barrel. I did because that's what I had at hand, is I had a nice saber barrel to use. You don't have to do that. But yet the optimal length for this blaster is 40 centimeters. Don't go over, don't go under. And you guys are going to say, well, how much is that in inches? That's about 15 3/4 inches. Actually, it's like 15.78 or something like that. Just go by centimeters. 40 centimeters is maximum length for this barrel, for this blaster. And if you're shooting the right type of ammo, you're going to get, easily 250s. If you bump it up to higher end ammo, of course, you're going to get higher numbers. But the problem is the cost becomes prohibitive. Because Dragon darts, they're like 50 pieces for $20. Yeah, that's some expensive ass ammo. For $30, you get 100 pieces, which again is some very expensive ammo. But I was actually pleasantly surprised with this blaster. With just a quick spring change and a longer barrel, I was getting 250, 260 out of it, which is really nice. It's really good. I mean, I was rather impressed with that platform. I'm really rather impressed with the Nexus X platform. Personally, I would like to see maybe the Dart Zone bamboos get a little cheaper, than what they would, make them about the same price as the worker darts, and then maybe they'll sell more. Or here's an even better suggestion. Sell the bamboo darts everywhere around the world. Of course, they won't do that. It is what it is. But as I said, though, to get speeds of 250 to 260, put in a high-powered spring, a 40-centimeter barrel, and, lots of lube, and there you go. And again, everybody's results will be slightly different, depending on the air seal. I have a perfect air seal in this blaster right now. That's the one thing about saber barrels, is that they have a coating on the outside of it, which make it a little fatter than 16 millimeter. And it locks in fine, no problem. I mean, look, I'm pulling on it and nothing. And I'm actually using quite a bit of force. You want to have a perfect air seal when you do this. And this blaster does have a perfect air seal. The bearing scar on this thing, it's not bad. It's definitely the one that came with the blaster. If you guys ever get the chance to order the metal one, do that. I don't know why they put plastic bearings in it. They probably did it to save money. But, if they would have put metal bearings in it, I would have gave them $10 extra for it. Just saying. I mean, it's not bad. It's not a bad platform. It's really good, and just with the change of a spring, you get 240. You get 250, 260, And if you jump up the ammo, you get 300. And I know some people are saying, well, 300, that's the way to go. Yeah, it's a good speed to have, absolutely. But when you're shooting a lighter dart, you're losing accuracy by like a lot. Like, for example, if I was to say put bamboo heavies in this thing, worker bamboo heavies, it would drop the speed down to about 250, but I would get better accuracy and slightly longer ranges. It's funny how it works like that. But in any event, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. I'll put a buy link in the description below for the blaster, the upgraded springs, and the callot from Xbox Games. Well, until next time, this is Miller's Mods signing off.